Hello, dear all. So we proceed further with the Keynes 12 observations. The title is Prognosis After Observing the Action of Remedy. So this is the third part. I have divided the 12 observation in the four parts. Each part has three observations. So this is the third part where we will be discussing observation from 7 to 9. So the structure in which we are going to discuss the observation is first statement, pathology, third is remedy, fourth is potency, fifth is mistake of physician if any, the effects seen on the patient, action taken by physician and what is the prognosis of the case. So just have a look in brief about the concept of disease by Dr. Kent. So no visible pathology appears without internal disturbance of vital force. Invisible changes of disease give rise to visible organ pathology. Abnormal mental generals and physical generals appear first and they are getting extended to the affection of physical particulars. Disease is not the pathology and pathology is not the disease. Disease is prior, before to the pathology. Disease originates in the invisible interior of man. Disease begins with the invisible changes in mind and body. Homeopath treats the disease with invisible pathology and not the visible pathology. So the object of homeopath is to treat this invisible pathology and automatically the visible pathology disappears and cure takes place. So see the seventh observation. What is the statement? Full-time amelioration yet no special relief. So what is the pathology in this case? That patient has compromised his living in health with one kidney or TB of lungs or some other congenital defects. So this observation is seen in such type of pathology, that is a patient who is living a compromised life with history of TB in the past or he has one kidney. So remedy given to him was a similimum, potency was correct, no mistake of the physician. Effect was that patient was relieved, but some sufferings were always there. So patient did not have entire relief. What is the action? Continue the medicine and physician can opt the choice and give LM potency which you can give in the advanced pathology. Deep acting remedy can be given. So, what is the prognosis? It is unfavorable due to underlying irreversible conditions. That is, patient living with one kidney or having some congenital defects which cannot be overruled. So, we get this type of observation. Full-time amelioration yet no special relief. Still, we can, as a homeopath, can give the patient a substantial relief from his sufferings. So we can continue the medicine and the choice of LM potency will be preferred. This LM potency will be preferred is not given by Dr. Kane, but this is the current choice the homeopath can have. That is what my advice will be there. So we have seen the disease aggravations in the fifth, sixth and seventh observation. Fifth observation, if you all remember, was amelioration followed by aggravation. Sixth observation is too short relief of symptoms. And seventh observation is full-time amelioration yet no spatial relief. All these three are disease aggravations. Disease aggravation means in spite of giving the remedy, the disease progresses. So, the concept of disease is very important in homeopathy. The pathology of the disease is very important to assess the case. The prognosis of the case needs to be assessed prior to the management of such cases. So, disease is to be assessed as functional or structural, reversible or irreversible, curable or incurable. So, after the administration of the remedy, patient is not better. In disease aggravation, after the administration of the remedy, patient is not better. There are few addition of symptoms which indicate that disease is progressing. Okay. So, sixth observation, especially when there was too short relief of symptom, we have discussed in under two headings, where first was patient is interfering with the action of the remedy. In such cases, the disease aggravation is not to be interpreted. It is just that patient is handling some things which block the action of the remedy. And the second heading of sixth observation was that the physician is giving the superficial remedy in the case which is incurable. So this is indicating the disease aggravation. So we go further. Eighth observation is the statement is some patients prove every remedy they get and they are nothing but idiosyncratic patients. So what is the pathology in such cases? So when you observe this type of reaction, the pathology is not the point of importance. We are treating the individuals who are hypersensitive. So symptoms of remedy administered appear in the patient. Remedy was a simillimum, potency was correct, physician made no mistake. The effect was that as these are hypersensitive individuals called as idiosyncratics, mentioned in aphorism number 117, that these are peculiar corporeal constitutions which although otherwise healthy possesses a disposition to be brought into more or less morbid states by certain things which seem to produce no change in many other individuals. What is the action? Stop the remedy and give placebo. So this indicates that as soon as the remedy is administered, they prove the remedy. So action is stop the remedy, give placebo. Prognosis. These individuals are difficult to cure. They act as good provers as they give PQRS symptoms. So in such individuals, we as soon as we administer the remedy, they start proving the remedy. Means what? The symptoms of the remedy appear in the symptomatology of the patient. So in such cases, physicians should stop the remedy, give placebo, use medium potencies, and these individuals are difficult to cure because they prove the remedy. Okay, so what should be done? Give moderate type of potency in the minimum repetitions, but they act as good provers as they give PQRS symptoms owing to their hypersensitivity, which no other provers give. So we come to the ninth observation. What is the statement? Action of medicines on provers. So here it's about drug proving. So pathology is not related, remedy and potency not related. What is the mistake? So again no mistake of the physician. So to understand the pathogenesis of the medicine on healthy provers at both mental and physical plane, each medicine has peculiar pathogenesis. So, action of medicine on the provers must be understood. So, to understand this pathogenesis of the medicine on healthy provers on both mental and physical plane means we should know the mental symptoms as well as physical symptoms seen in the prover, and we should keep it in mind that each medicine has peculiar pathogenesis. It is never the same as with the second medicinal substance. So let's see further. So what is the effect? The action of medicine on provers. So effect is not related. The medicine will show its pathogenesis. What is the action? Different provers give different symptoms due to different susceptibility, and susceptibility is different at different times in the same individual, because see individual, if he is a child the susceptibility is high. If the individual who becomes old, in same individual susceptibility is low in the old age. So each prover will give different symptoms, and not all the symptoms of the medicine will be seen in one prover. So it is very important point that all the symptoms of medicine will not be seen in one prover. So we require different provers of different ages and both the sexes. So prognosis is not related in these cases. In the nature, each medicinal substance has its own peculiar action owing to the fixed eternal laws of nature. Thus, they exhibit peculiar pathogenesis, which will be always universal. For example, Allium cepa, that is our routinely we are using in our life, that is onion, it has got its own enzymes and will always exhibit the same pathogenesis during brewing. So we go further and try to understand action of medicines in provers. So what is the significance of symptoms seen in provers? If majority of provers give common symptoms, then it indicates general response to the specific capacity of the drug. Example, while proving Allium cepa, majority of provers show coryza, lacrimation, and they are the common symptoms. They are not important from the point of view of differentiation. If majority of provers show characteristic symptoms, then it indicates specific capacity of the drug and represents its identity, important from the point of view of differentiation of remedies. Example, burning 3 marks in arsenic is a characteristic symptoms. It will help us to differentiate from other remedies also. So if you observe characteristic symptoms in few provers, so provers experienced for the first time by the prover. So symptoms are experienced for the first time. It indicates highly susceptible prover and you can confirm it on reproving. If symptoms are experienced previously, it indicates peculiar susceptibility of the prover and not the specific capacity of the drug. If characteristic symptoms in isolated instances are seen, This shows peculiar susceptibility of the individual who are idiosyncratics. So, this is the significance of the symptoms seen in provers. So, we end a discussion of all these three observations here, and in the next lecture, I will be discussing the remaining three observations. Thank you.